Now then, so if you're new around here, this is my 2005 Lotus Exige S2, and I've wanted one of these for the last 20 years. It's not a clean car, it was classed as a structural write-off back in 2023. I'll pop some photos up on the screen now so you can see what the damage was like. And basically what I'm wanting to figure out today is whether I've done good or if I've bought a lemon. I maybe should have done that before taking it on a 1,000 mile road trip to the Nürburgring, but you know, priorities. So let's get this thing up on a ramp, whip all the trays off and have a good poke around to see if buying this car was a good call or not. If you haven't got one already, go grab yourself a cuppa, get sat down, and let's get into it. So I'm here today at Performance Autocare, which is only an hour away from where I live. If you have a Lotus or a VX220 and you live up in the north of England, this is where you want to take it. Johnny has a decade worth of experience working solely on these cars, and as you can see by his track toy, he's pretty good at what he does. I've stuck a mic on him and we're going to have a quick walk around the car to show him what I know is wrong with it before pulling it into the workshop so he can take a closer look. Without further ado, let me hand it over to real life Luke now to show him around the car. In a bit. Right, this is Johnny.
Hello.
And we're going to show you around all of the knackered parts on the car, that I know of at least anyway. So starting off with seals. Now, I know doors can go a little bit rusty on these things. Window seals, this came off on the way to Germany, and then I've noticed this morning that there's a decent sized gap down the side of there as well. This, which looks like it was off a donor car, which probably needs sanding back and lacquering. More scratches down on the door sill. A leak that comes in through here.
Top seal. That's got quite a big gap here. Quite a large body gap.
Another body gap, there we go, he's already spotting stuff. That top seal was leaking directly onto the steering wheel. Don't know if that's a common thing with taking the roofs off.
Yeah, usually they leak down here straight onto the sill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was doing that as well, to be honest. Aircon, typical thing on one of these.
Not working?
Not working, no.
So that needs investigating then.
What else? There was another couple of things. Obviously the damage underneath the tub is what we're going to take a look at today. How much work is it to take off all the under trays? Because we're not going to take the front clam off today, are we?
No, we're going to basically remove the front tray, middle tray. That gives us access to see what kind of damage is done to like the front sections of the chassis.
Super. And you've already pointed out as well that you can't really tell because I've got the wheels pointed this way around at the moment, but when the wheels are straight, we've got a little bit more positive camber on that side and a bit too much negative camber on that side. So you have got like a little geo table in there.
Yeah, we just do a full geo setups in there.
So yeah,
you can kind of dial out kind of unwanted camber or wanted camber.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to pull it into his shop and onto the middle ramp and then get underneath and have a look at this damage. Yeah,
cool. No problem.
So, already Johnny is picking up on things that I didn't even notice, which is a good thing, but I do hope there's nothing too serious hidden on the underside of the car. Again, here's that list of everything that I've found which is going to require some attention, which includes a couple of bits that I forgot to mention a few seconds ago, and there are a couple of easy fixes on there like paint and seals, but things like the air conditioning not working could be a really pricey repair, and one that Johnny could actually fix. So we'll take a good look at the condition of everything in a bit more detail once it's on the lift.
So what I always do is just go for each wheel first, then we'll send it up and have a look underneath.
Yeah. How they're looking?
So far so good.
Decent.
For an older one, it's pretty good shape actually. Your drop link bolts to the lower arm.
Yeah.
If you look through there, look. So you can see if you look down here, you'll see where the drop link bolts through.
Right, yeah.
You see it's dead straight.
Aye.
So if you look at the other side, so you can see it's been forced over this way. See that?
Yeah.
Just got this rear wheel to do now, this side. But as far as steering rack and everything goes, it all appears okay.
So far, so good. I had a bit of a bent front lower arm, which was on the opposite side to where the impact was, so that must have been another incident. But whilst the car's heading up on the lift, this is what the underside of an aluminium tub should look like. Nice and flat. And I know there is some damage to mine, but I haven't actually seen how bad it is yet, so fingers crossed it's alright, eh?
Right.
So I don't actually know how the accident took place, so I don't know if you'll be able to have a better guess than
what it looks like to me so far is it's probably maybe jumped and maybe landed somewhere in this region and it's come back here, look.
Yeah.
It's quite heavy, scratches and gouges into the floor pan. Just that section there as well.
So is that all it takes to write the car off?
Yeah. There's some at this side as well, look.
Yeah.
But anything along here kind of is classed it's like chassis damage then.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to check these points here, anti-roll bar bolster, and where the suspension arms go in. This side looks straight, to be fair to it. You can usually see if like the distortion. So like, you'll see that section here like bent back, for example.
Yeah.
But yours look really, really good. Again, same this side. Really good shape, everything's nice and straight. Where the top arms go in, everything as well. There's not corrosion build-up or anything. But yeah, to be fair, it's not bad. I've seen a lot worse over the years, believe me.
That's it's very good to know.
Yeah. Rear under tray's got some marks in it where it's probably been distorted at some stage. But nothing crazy. So now it's a fact of we need to get these off. So we'll get that one off, front one off, and then we can just see crash structure, see basically lower engine, rear subframe.
Nice.
Just gives you a good indication of like how your mount's looking and things like that.
Yeah. Seeing that everything is straight apart from the damage that I already knew about is a huge relief. And I am still scratching my head a little bit as to how they'd write a car off for a few tiny dents on the underside of the tub, but you know, insurance is the biggest scam on the planet, so that's probably why. The next job was to whip off the front tray and take a closer look at the front crash structure. Wish me luck.
Right, so that's your front tray off, removed. So you can now see the crash structure. So any big impacts on the cars usually leave like telltale signs of like cracks throughout this section.
Yeah.
Again, so far it looks pretty good. Do you know if he's put any one of these on, or is it still the original one?
I would imagine it was a new one that was on. Okay. I'll show you the pictures of what the car looked like when it was delivered at his place.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to know straight away, I'd imagine.
Yeah. It's all good. I'm just looking at your oil cooler setups. Obviously you've only got one on this car, so that's a blank. But if you've got the pipe goes through down here to this cooler, then back to the engine.
All right, yeah.
Again, in crashes, these take a big hit, so it's kind of like if there's a lot of oil pooling around here, then it's a good indication that's kind of been hit and not been replaced.
Yeah. So are these secondary oil coolers just found on like the supercharged models? Or...
Yeah, you can upgrade. You got upgrade kits and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good it's got one in just on its own, really. And you can see where they've bonded in all the grills behind here, look.
Oh yeah.
Lovely black stuff. Right, so now I think we'll get the rear tray off. So it just gives us a good chance to look at like your hoses and things like that as well, because they all look really good, to be fair.
Yeah, they
all the clips. Yeah, it looks all right. Anti-roll bars, obviously their D-bushes are all in good shape.
Yeah.
So again, it's looking all right.
When it comes to suspension upgrades, what's a common upgrade?
The best one is probably Nitron.
Yeah.
You go for Nitron and you can basically determine where the car sits ride-wise, and then you can stiffen it, soften it, do whatever you want. So daily drivers cars, you can literally go full soft and it's really supple.
Yeah.
Like we get a few guys at daily and it's like, they love Nitron. They're softer than Bilstein.
Okay.
So they are good. Going back to your aircon not working, if you look through there, you can see your condenser and the twin fan setup.
Yeah.
That actually looks okay, to be fair, but you pretty much have to re-gas it, see if it'll hold a vacuum, and then pretty much do a tracer dye, and you can see if there's any dye in these sections.
Yeah.
Just watch yourself when this goes, if there's any stones, whatever, that might fly out. I found all sorts under these. Yeah, so we can see now basically the lower end of the engine and box. Yeah, no massive oil leaks, which is good.
Yeah, as I say, apart from a bit of surface corrosion.
Yeah, it's dry. It's dry as a bone. Yeah, you're running factory toe links, which again, I'd probably upgrade if I were you if you're going to do some more track stuff.
Yeah.
Hub carrier bolts don't look horrendous, but still probably do them up there, look.
Yes.
If you're going to geometry, you'd probably still replace them. Shockers look age, but they're still not leaking anything. Yeah, I'd be quite happy with this.
Yeah.
It's a good base to start with.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Some lovely overspray on the tank. One thing to mention might be might be worth contacting Lotus just in case you're due the oil pipe recall.
Okay.
There's a recall on these where basically these pipes have a tendency to jump off.
Right.
So just worth a quick phone call to them just to confirm, because it's a free of charge thing they'll do for you. Huh. So again, there you can see this little bit of damage where it probably took the hit.
Yeah.
And straighten it back out to actually fit your tray back on. But it's, yeah, the only problems you would have is if that had have actually put a hole in it, obviously you get water ingress in there and stuff.
Yeah.
So you'd have to put something other end. But it's because it's under your seats, you don't really see it as such.
Yeah. To me, that seems absolutely crazy that you can write an entire car off because of...
Yeah,
because
I mean,
of
it might be the write-off was the front end section, that's just kind of happened afterwards or whatever. It's a fairly solid example.
Are all of these tubs fundamentally the same then, from S1s to S2s to S3s?
Yeah. There'll be different glue they use, like on this one down here, it's still orange, but on some of the early ones they use like a bluey green glue. You can see that's orange there still sticking out.
Yeah.
This one down here as well, this is another early car. There you go, look, that one's got green glue, see it there?
Oh yeah.
So again, it just, I think was a manufacturer change or whatever. Yeah, this one's a Honda car, which gearbox has gone unfortunately, so we're just having that done in a minute.
Yeah.
But to get them out, you got to pull it, that's the engine down there. Yeah.
Everything's an engine out job.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, all good. So what I'm going to do is just lower it down a fraction. We'll just have a quick, more in-depth look at these condenser. I've overspray on the chassis all the way down. So it's just a good indication of it's had a lot of, obviously, front end paint work. Yes, I'm just looking if I can see any other marks on it. Yeah, if it was mine, I'd be tempted to try gas it as it is and just see what happens, because that condenser to me looks like it could be okay still.
Yeah.
Usually when they're really bad, you'll see like the fans kind of hanging down. Yeah. When the corrosion's that bad, it just can't actually hold the fan up. Again, toe posts, if you look there, they corrode away, which yours isn't too bad. I don't know how you're going to get that out there and catch it. That little grommet. They should have put an hole there really for you.
They should have, yeah.
Yeah. It's a cleaner look, I suppose, with it all in one piece, isn't it? Yeah, no massive chunks out of crash structure, so that's pretty good. With the impact being this side, you kind of go to that area to look round, don't you?
Yeah.
But it all looks fairly straight and good. Yeah, I'll be happy with this, mate. What I'll do is, if you were going to geometry it, set it up properly, because this wheel's obviously got a bit, I think it's got a bit too much positive camber, so it's virtually straight. So if you look just up here, someone's already, if you look, taking all the shims out. So they've obviously known something's been kind of out. So what you'd have to do is now get some aftermarket steering arms, which would gain you even more negative camber, which you then pull it back into line.
Yeah.
Regarding that, you can either get a new blower arm. We can get strengthening brackets for these now as well, which kind of keeps it all together.
Yeah.
But nothing screams out like serious danger at me.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Probably should have brought it to you before I went to the ring, to be honest.
Yeah. There's one thing that we could do doing before you leave.
Yeah.
On your front pads on that side, you've got 2 caliper pins. The top pin basically doesn't have a returning clip in it.
Right.
So if you look there, look.
Yeah.
See, it's missing. And you can just see there the camber shims I was talking about.
Yeah.
So there's one they've put back in.
That was one thing that was bothering me a little bit, was the brake pad rattle.
Yeah.
I was getting that quite a bit.
Yeah, so what we do with that is you get what you call pad buffers, and you can probably replicate. That'll be it.
Yeah.
You just put pad buffers in the top, and then you got just some new strong string clips. So you can get basically these spring clips that are kind of newer than this version that are on.
Yeah.
Just to hold them back and stop that rattle. You get it on a lot of the aftermarket pads now, the pads are just a bit smaller, so they're going to rattle.
Yeah, just for ease to get them in and out when they're...
Yeah, as well as when you're getting on like track pads, they're going to get hot and expand, so they don't want them to stick in a caliper.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a bit of a recce list of what to do the next probably year of ownership. Again, stuff like the hoses. Yeah. You can upgrade these to braided versions. We fit, I'll just grab them out of there. We fit the upgraded toe links called Spitfire toe links.
Right.
These are what we opt for. So they basically replace the whole thing.
Yeah. Much chunkier, aren't they?
Yeah. Locally made as well, it's only in Burnbridge. Right. So it's made to order for us. It's really good. So we've fit these for years, never had one failure.
Nice piece of kit.
Yeah, they're lovely.
Am I right in saying that some people upgrade the rear calipers to front calipers?
Yes.
On the rears?
Yeah. So what some people do is they'll flip it, so you've got your front caliper on the rear, and then you'll just either return that for the handbrake on its own. Yeah. Or if you want to go all out on them, you can then get a separate handbrake caliper.
Right.
Depends what you want to do with the car. If it's something like heavily trapped, then that's kind of what people go for. We personally actually still run the standard caliper on the back of our track car. Never had one issue with it. And then just some larger 4-pots on the front. Again, things like your belts look all good. it looks like it's been maintained okay. You see how I can spin that as well? So if we're able to spin the aircon clutch, basically, it just means that I can see solid.
Yeah.
And a lot of, like, I'm seeing it on the V6 now, where, like, the aircon pumps are seizing, and what's happening is when you activate them, it's actually belt slipping, and then the belt's smoking and snapping the belt.
Right.
So obviously that's bad. Does it make a noise at all? Have you noticed any rattling or anything like that?
Nothing. No. Literally, the only noise that I've had has been those front pads.
Yeah.
So it's been spot on, really. Yeah.
The only thing we've had to do a few times recently, you see down here, look, these are your air conditioning pipe work that run down the sill.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this thing here works in two ways. It stops it vibrating and horrible noises, but it holds water. So obviously it corrodes away, and then the aluminium corrodes, then you get like pinholes in it.
Yeah.
We don't know that until we force nitrogen into it and like kind of pressurise it up. But with this particular car, I'd be tempted to gas it, see if it holds a vacuum, pump it up, and see what happens when you activate it.
Yeah.
Overall, I'll be happy with it. There's a few minor things that I want to do before you leave.
Yeah. If you give me a score out of 10 for a non-crash car and then for a Cat S, what would you say?
For a Cat S car, I'd say this is 8 out of 10.
Happy days.
And then for a non-Cat car, it's just 7-ish.
Yeah.
You know what? An 8 out of 10 off someone who looks at these things every day will do for me. And once I've sorted out the little recce list of small jobs, it's only going to improve things. There are a couple of final things to check though, and we can't do that with it in the air, so let's get it dropped back down and get it plugged in to see if there are any fault codes.
Are they known for any nasties in particular with these?
The main ones of these are like O2 sensors.
Yeah.
So like, they obviously get driven hard, so they tend to die. You've got nothing in this whatsoever, which is good.
We had a quick look over the top of the engine bay, which was totally standard and in near perfect condition, before heading to the front of the car to open a couple of access panels, to check things like the fuse box and to do a dip test on the brake fluid to make sure there was no moisture in the system, which I'm glad to report there wasn't. Happy days. Johnny mentioned that the standard rad on this thing isn't the best. They have plastic caps either side which will crack over time, but you can upgrade to a full alloy radiator which seems to eliminate this problem entirely. And that was pretty much everything checked. So let's hand it over to Real Life Luke again now to run you through how much it's going to cost to get this thing perfect.
Right, so Johnny said he was going to send me over a little recce list of everything that I need to change within the next 12 months. That's what I've got now. So starting off with that lower front arm on the far side, the one that he said was bent, that's going to be about 180 quid. We'll sort of waive all of the fitting fees for now because I might fit quite a few bits myself in a friend's garage. Hello Glenn. The Spitfire toe links at the rear, they're 340 quid for the pair. They weren't crucial, but if we're going to be replacing that front lower arm and then doing a geo setup on it, we might as well replace them to make it nice and easy. Geo setup, that's the next thing, 260 quid plus VAT. And after looking at the aircon, the condenser and everything seemed okay, so I think I'm going to chance it and just regas the system, and if it holds pressure, class, that's 100 quid plus VAT. But then that's something that's sorted without having to delve in anything further, so that's ideal. Obviously I've got paint, I've got lacquer that I need to sort out on headlights, I've got scratches and things that need to get sorted out, but the majority of that I can probably either do myself, or if I do fuck it up, I'll take it to a professional. It's not Johnny's forte. With it being sort of like the end of UK summertime, I mean we've had all 3 days of it, I do need to get jobs like sorting the seals out ticked off as soon as possible, because we can't be having water ingressing into the car all year round. And guess how much it is for one of those? I would tell you, to be fair, but I think it's probably better if you just have a guess in the comments, and whoever gets closest I'll send you something in the post.
And that's about it. There will be a few videos ticking off all of those jobs, I'd imagine, so if you're enjoying the Lotus content, make sure you stick around and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see me do with this car, whether it be some Lotus only track days, another road trip with the boys, or fit in some modifications. I'm up for out. Anyway, thanks for watching. Drop it a like if you enjoyed the video. I've been lookship, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.